Uh, We're ready to go? Wait until our picture comes up. Where's Tom? He's gone? What about Tom Lewis? Okay. 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 That's got to come off. Roll it. I told him to roll it. Okay. Okay, good evening. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education of Clark Public Schools. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, and that a special notice was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act.
Can I get a motion to return to public? Mr. Smorl by Ms. Correo. All in favor? Aye. All right, with that, can we just rise for pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Here.
Mr. Benavinga?
Here.
Mr. Bohm?
Here.
Mr. Breedy?
Here.
Ms. Guerrero?
Here.
Ms. Harrison?
Here.
Ms. Hickman?
Here.
Mr. Lewis? Mr. Smorl? Here. And Mr. Dunkersloot.
Here.
Having 9 board members, we have a quorum.
All right, so at this time, we're going to hear the presentation of the 22-23 school year audit.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Parenti. I'm a partner with Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss. We've completed your annual audit for the year ended June 30th, 2023. The board members each received 2 reports. The larger report is called the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. The smaller report is the Auditor's Management Report. Included in the Auditor's Management Report would be any findings or recommendations, if any. Every school district in the state of New Jersey is required to file both of these reports on an annual basis. Your annual comprehensive financial report is primarily made up of 4 sections. The first section would be an introductory section, which is prepared by the school district, a brief narrative. The second section would be the management discussion and analysis, which is your financial statements in a narrative form. The third section would be your financial section, which is an auditor's opinion. There are various financial statements, and then there are footnotes to those financial statements. And then the last section would be a statistical section, which is miscellaneous statistics about the municipality and the school district. As I indicated, there's an auditor's opinion attached to your financials for June 30th, 2023. That opinion is an unmodified opinion. What that means is that your financial statements are fairly stated and free material misstatement. Okay, that's a clean opinion. That's the opinion you want to receive on an annual basis. What I'll briefly do is discuss the district's fund balance at June 30th, 2023. The district ended the year with approximately $9.6 million in fund balance. That fund balance is reserved or restricted for a few different purposes, which I'll briefly discuss. The first reservation is the district has set aside $2.2 million that will be utilized as a revenue source when you prepare your 24-25 budget. The district also reserved and utilized $4.2 million of that revenue, of that fund balance, in the 23-24 school year. The district has established a capital reserve in the amount of $924,000. There is a maintenance reserve in the amount of $901,000. And then the last piece of your fund balance would be your unassigned fund balance in the amount of $1.1 million. And then, as far as recommendations are concerned, we had one recommendation, and that was that program fees collected in the before and after school program be deposited in a timely manner. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to address those at this point.
So I'd just like to say, first of all, Andrew, thank you for a comprehensive audit. As Andrew indicated, we had one finding in the report, which we believe is a pretty easy fix on our end. So we feel good about how clean the audit was for all intents and purposes. I want to thank Paul and his team for the work that they've done in order to keep our books as clean as they are. Really appreciate it. And Andrew, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Moving on from there, we'll do the approval minutes from last month. Motion, Ms. Akalonis, followed by Ms. Hickman. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bone?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open the floor to the public for agenda items only. So if there's any items on the agenda that would like to be discussed, now would be the time. Just come up, state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next part of the meeting, which is personnel. Can I get a motion on items 1 through 17 and addenda number 1? See Mr. Bencivenga, followed by Mr. Breedy. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bone? Yes. Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero?
Abstain on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 16. Yes on the rest, including the addendum.
I may read it back, Ms. Guerrero. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, and 16.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's correct.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mrs. Smurl?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Curriculum, we have items 18 and 19. Can I get a motion? Ms. Akalonis, followed by Ms. Harrison. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bone?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero?
Yes on 18, abstain on 19.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Then we have board governance, items 20 to 27. Can I get a motion? Mr. Bencivenga and Ms. Akalonis. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bone? Yes. Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero?
Abstain on 21 and 25, and yes on the rest.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then we have items, we have finance items 28 to 35. Can I get a motion? Mr. Smurl, followed by Mr. Breedy. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bone? Yes. Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And now that brings us to the report of the superintendent.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Donkersloot. Mr. Vizzuzo, thank you for the 22-23 audit, which was so clean, and our Finance Committee, led by Mr. Smorl and Mr. Bowman, Mr. Brady as members for their guidance, and ultimately the entire board. On this evening's agenda, we are approving the return of the Clark Connects to the Past program, which will run July 29th through August 2nd for our students who will be entering grades 4 to 7 in September. And this is a more humanities-based program, whereas Camp Invention, which is also running this summer, is more STEM-based. Kindergarten registration is in the process of being online through Genesis. Information regarding the registration is on our district and elementary school websites, and please do not hesitate to call either elementary school, FKH, or VRS with any questions. Our Princeton Review SAT prep classes began last week. 25 students are in the Monday and Wednesday class, while 13 students are in the Tuesday and Thursday class, both in preparation for the March test. There will be another class beginning in May in preparation for the June test, with some open spots available. Looking back on the past few weeks and looking forward, last Tuesday evening we had the ALJ Curricular Open House for our 8th grade students and their parents from Clark and Garwood. At this time, our Honors Academy was officially introduced, and Mrs. Oliveira, Mrs. Posky, and Mr. Amendola, in their absence, thank you for taking the lead with this exciting initiative to meet our students' needs. The Carl H. Kumpf School Play, Anything Goes, will be this Thursday and Friday night at 7 p.m., and this Saturday afternoon a matinee at 2 p.m. And lastly, the Frank A. Henley and Valley Road Schools grades K to 2 elementary math night took place last Wednesday evening. Looking forward, President's Day will be Monday, February 19th, and schools will be closed for students and staff. Every district is required to report to the public twice yearly, detailing the number of incidences of violence, vandalism, substances, weapons, and confirmed HIV cases that have been recorded for the given reporting period. In this case, we are looking at September 1st through December 31st. 11 cases were reported for ALJ, 1 violence, 1 vandalism, 7 substances, 1 weapon, and 1 HIV confirmed. 1 for Carl H. Kumpf, 1 HIV confirmed, 1 for FKH, 1 violence, and 2 for Valley Road School, 2 HIV confirmed. And I'd like to close with this week being National School Counselor Week, and Mr. Amendola and his team, both of counselors, our SAC, and the support staff, do a great job meeting our students' needs. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Grande. At this time, we'll do report of the committees, if any. Mr. Smorl?
Yeah, so just real quick, wanted to just touch on the Finance Committee. As mentioned earlier, we had a meeting to review the auditor's report and to have some preliminary discussions regarding the upcoming budget as to where we are. And I just want to express a special thanks to my co-finance committee members, Bob Brady and Scott Bohm, for all their help.
Thank you, Mr. Smorl. Any other, Ms. Harrison?
Just from the curriculum committee, I want to echo what Mr. Grande said about our school counselors. I think that they are often viewed as guidance counselors, and that role has shifted. And I'm just really happy to be part of a team that supports our students and their mental health.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Any other report of the committees? Any unfinished or new business? All right, Abigail, you're on.
Thank you and good evening. I'll begin with the many events happening at ALJ. The first semester has come to an end and most students have begun their new elective classes. The incoming class of 2028 and their families were given a tour of the school and introduced to their schedules on January 30th. That same night, certain students also learned about the new Honors Academy beginning next year at ALJ. Additionally, the prom fashion show was held last Thursday, where students modeled dresses and suits in preparation for the prom season. Looking forward to February, this week sophomores are taking their driver's ed tests during school. This Friday, there will be a Valentine's Grand Sale during lunch, and next Tuesday, the 13th, will be the National Honor Society induction dinner at Shakamaxon Country Club. ALJ Sports have had a busy month with senior Joey Ortega's 100th career win in wrestling, and boys and girls basketball senior nights, along with the ice hockey season being well underway. Moving on to the middle school, the Kumpf School Play Anything Goes will be held the nights of February 8th and 9th. It will also be performed February 10th at 2 p.m., and ticket information can be found on the Kumpf website. Many congratulations to the Kumpf Science Olympiad for qualifying for the state championship, which will be held in March. Moving to sports, the Kumpf Unified Sports Team will have its first home basketball game on February 22nd versus Bernard's Middle School. Finally, the Comp PTA will host a candy bingo night on February 22nd, and more information will be available soon. Looking at the elementary schools, Henley students were able to raise over $500 for the organization Alice's Lemonade Stand, which fights childhood cancer. Students donated to the cause and enjoyed dancing in lemonade at the annual Cruising Through the Winter event. Henley will also be celebrating Heart Health Month in February and participate in the American Heart Association's Heart Health Challenge to raise funds. Students will participate in healthy heart activities during the month. Additionally, the PTA is planning a Sweetheart Tea event where students will join favorite adults for treats and games. Pretzels will be for sale after school on the 13th to celebrate the 100th day of school for Henley. That is all I have for this month. Thank you.
All right, so at this time, we'll open it up to the public for any non-agenda items. So if you'd like to say anything about anything that's not on the agenda, now would be your time. Come up, state your name, your address for the record. You have 3 minutes. Mr. Draghi, I think you're the one.
Bill Draghi, 47 Post Road, Clark, New Jersey. I'd just like to say that Governor Murphy, with the Democratic legislature, has really put a burden on all the schools in Jersey. And I realize that a lot of you are probably against the stuff he did. I would say probably 90% are against what Governor Murphy and the legislature did. But there is still a big problem because there might be some teachers, guidance counselors that go along with that. The transgender changing children that want to change their gender, and there might be some guidance counselors that might even advise a little child to do that, to change their gender. And there's nothing. If another teacher finds out about that, or another guidance counselor that this is happening, she really can't do much because of the law, because it is allowed. And it's a real tragedy that she could persuade a child to say that she is a girl when she has boy body parts, and convince that little girl, maybe a 5-year-old even, to do something like maybe take some hormones to facilitate that, to make that person more like, say, a boy if she really has girl body parts. And the only recourse you have would be someone to secretively let the parents know about it. Because the law says that the parents should not be told about this, especially if they think the parents would be against it. And probably 99% of the parents would be against it. It is a law, right? I brought this up before, that a child cannot have an aspirin without getting the parents' permission. Is that correct? But yet, a guidance counselor could convince a little 5-year-old that she is a boy. And the parent cannot be told about this, which is so ridiculous.
Aye.